Good. I think we are going deeper than I expected. So yes, now we will touch a little bit on the Ayurvedic aspect of anatomy and physiology, one that is relevant clinically. We will apply that when we will see a client related to that particular system, and in terms of what diet we recommend. Very general recommendations, Vata Pitta Kapha diet, everyone can make. But here we want to go and also see the connection. So I will now talk about the root of one thing for sure. Out of many organs in the body, this is the organ very delicate. I'm talking about lungs and sinuses that need to be moistened. Very delicate. And so there is a cuff role in there. And one of the cuff that actually provides the lubrication and the fluid. So we call pleural fluid, as Sanam spoke about it, and also pericardial. So pericardium, so there is heart inside endocardium, and there is this pericardium. In between is the fluid, right? Pericardial. And the same thing is pleural fluid. So this is, we call as Avlambak kapha. The seat of Avlambak kapha is the chest. And so because it is kapha, so we have to just try to think, what is it? Anything that upholds the strength of this area. So in this case, what is upholding it is this fluid. And when this fluid, which is also covering the alveolar membrane, bronchial tree, everything, and when that is disturbed for whatever reason, for wrong eating habits, smoking, pollution, pollens, dust, all these things, they will affect what? They will affect the covering, the kapha of that particular area. It is important here to learn this so that when we give the preparation, it's not just giving pills. We may have to give the same herbal things with ghee, only if we know if that is compromised. If not, then we may not give ghee preparation. We may give same herbs, but in the powder form. So this is the clinical application of this. So Avlambak kapha has this role in this case. Avlambak kapha has another seat also, and that is lower back. But here we are talking about pranavashrotas. So that's why Ayurvedic anatomy of this is this way. So it is Avlambak kapha. Of course, pranavayu or pranavata, that is very important. But the flow of pranavata is based on the integrity, the strength, the proper lubrication of lungs. So if that is dried for whatever reason, person is not taking enough oleation, if person is not taking enough oil, good oils in the food, it is going to get affected, right? So that's why it is important. So that's why, say, if there is a season which is vata predominant, so means more dryness outside in the air. How we have to adjust that? We have to increase the quantity of good oils in our food. So this is the prevention aspect, right? Now we talk about another subdosha that is related to pranavashrotas. Another root is stomach. And stomach is the seat of kapha. Now, which particular aspect of kapha in the stomach affects the pranavashrotas? Can you name it? So it is
Is it Kledaka?
Kledak kapha, exactly. Very good, Michelle. So it is Kledak kapha. Now let us understand how does it work. So Kled means that which moistens. See, we put a little bit of butter on hand, and then what does it feel there? That's what Kled does. And so we will understand the function of Kled in the stomach if kapha is needed to protect anywhere in the stomach the most. And the reason is, the stomach is like this. See here? Like this. So there is this. Yeah, there is this. You cannot see?
No.
Okay, let me show you. So it is, see here, this is esophagus, right? Now here, this is how stomach comes down. Can you see now?
Halfway.
Half. Okay.
But and I think enough to get the point.
Okay, so there is one curvature. There is one curvature like this above, and there is one at the bottom. One is little bit larger, so it's called greater curvature of stomach. And one is smaller, so it is called lesser curvature. From the lesser curvature, the glands secrete HCl, hydrochloric acid. And that naturally goes down in the greater curvature. So HCl and pepsin, these are the main enzymes that are in the stomach. And the lower curvature is more mucus glands. And that's the Kledak cuff. And it is needed there. If it is not there, then ulcers, gastric ulcers, mostly the seat of gastric ulcer is in that area. So to protect from that on day-to-day basis, not only that area needs to be covered with Kledak cuff, but also renewal. So the cells in body renew all the times, but which cells renew most frequently and have short span is these cells, gastric cells. They renew almost in 24 hours, right? So in the lower curvature or greater curvature, it is the Kledak cuff, and it needs to be maintained. And so that's why it is important that in the food, there are 4 factors. You might remember this from module 3 of diet nutrition. For proper digestion, one of the factor is the Kled, which means proper oil in the food. The Kled or the mucus or the cuff that will come in here, of course, body will secrete, but where will it get its stuff to form it? It has to be in the food. If we don't eat proper quantity of oil in the food for long time, body will run out of its stock. So that's why in the food also we need to include healthy oil so that we can have this formation, right? So this is the role of Kledak. Now, so when the Kledak cuff is formed here, now the question is from where whole body gets its kapha. At the cellular level, at the tissue level, at the lungs level. In the brain, we have fluid kapha, tarpak kapha. In the joints, we have shlesha kapha. So from where all this kapha comes? It's from here. This Kledak kapha, these kapha molecules, they get absorbed and then they get into the vessels and then they get into the whole body. Right? So this is the root not only for pranavah shrotas, but also for whole body. Okay, and this is more kapha type here. So it is more sweet predominant taste in the upper 2/3 of stomach. And then as we move towards the pyloric, it starts changing, because the kapha means carbohydrate breakdown or digestion happens in the stomach. Partly, nothing else is getting digested in the stomach. Proteins don't get digested in the stomach. Fats don't get digested in the stomach. For those, we need different kind of digestive enzymes. So then it comes to pyloric valve, and it starts turning sour. So towards the pylorus is more becoming now pitta. You remember in the pharmacology, we talked about three kinds of taste: the sweet predominant taste, sour predominant taste, and pungent. So in this stage, as food is coming to pylorus, now it opens. So this is a function of vata, to open it. When kapha is predominant, it actually keeps it closed so that food can properly get processed in the stomach. It has to stay in the stomach for enough length of time. If it goes out quickly, that means it is half processed, and then it will create problem later, right? Because at this stage, the function of stomach has to be finished, which is mixing, formation of kapha, nourishing, breakdown of sweets, carbohydrates. Now it can move on. And that's where comes the vata, and it opens. And so once it opens, by this time it is more sour predominant, so more acidic. And then it goes down, and then comes the functions of duodenum and pancreas. In the duodenum, actually it is in the duodenum, but the juices come from pancreas and liver. And these are more trypsin, trypsinogen, and all those, right? They are to break down the proteins and break down the fats, right? So this is where, from Ayurvedic perspective, Ayurvedic anatomy perspective, this is Kledak kapha. The significance of this is, when someone is having vata predominant, dry cough, then we can understand person need to include some more oil so that the kapha can be compensated from that level, or have the preparations that are ghee based or oil based, or include more of this in the diet, right? So now you can see the connection. Okay, so okay, let me go. I have to share my PowerPoint again.
So, Vaidya Gupta, if somebody is having like a sour taste in their mouth, that would be that they don't have enough Kledaka. We have to increase kapha in the body, versus if somebody's having like nausea or like that sweet taste and there's too much kapha, too much Kledaka, we would have to counteract that.
Yes.
Okay.
So there are two possibilities in this case. Either person is having less Kleda kapha and high pachak pitta, which starts in the later part of the stomach and continues into duodenum. So it's not in the upper part. So either he is taking less kapha, that's why acidity is there, or too much production of acid. So what we call hyperchlorhydria. So there are these two pitta people. Usually they will have more of this condition. Kapha people, they will not have this condition. They will have more of hypochlorhydria, because they will have already more of Kleda kapha by nature because of their constitution. So kapha people will usually say, I feel like there is some mucus, which pitta people will never say. They will feel there is something in here. But pitta people will say some acid eruption. That's what they will say. The symptoms, common symptoms for pitta people will be that. For vata, it will be more bloating. This food is sitting there. So this is the symptoms that vata people will say.
I have a question.
Yes.
When somebody has a cold or okay, a dry cough, increasing because increasing oil. If we increase the oil intake, the liver will be secreting more bile and acid and stuff, and that. So too much kapha, can it cause pitta?
No.
So if there's too much oil, if a person eat too, the intake is too much oil, too much, it
Well,
could.
too much is too much is too much.
Okay, so it cannot lead to. Okay.
No. What I'm saying is that always when we are, say, if we are replenishing Kledak kapha, we have always to be aware of the quantity. When we are trying to restore deficient kapha, we have to be aware that how much and what and how much we have to recommend. If it is too much, no matter who it is, then it will be burden for liver and it will be burden for other organs. So we have to watch that how much are we going to recommend.
Okay. I just have to stop my camera. Okay.
So,
I just have to stop my camera because the internet is very unstable.
okay, I thought you got upset with me.
Okay. Yeah, I got what you said.
Okay.
I said I just have to turn off my camera sometime because the internet is unstable.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I got scared because I thought that you are not happy with my answer.
No, it keeps cutting because the internet here is not the best. Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sorry, in that situation that Anne spoke of, Vaidya Gupta, how would you guide somebody? Let's say you started asking them to ingest maybe a little bit more ghee or something like that. Do you monitor things with them or kind of track it with them until
absolutely
you see results? Okay.
Absolutely.
And then do you wean them off, or do you kind of try and find that balance based on that person's constitution and their lifestyle and those kinds of things?
Definitely. But there is some basic dose. If you give that, you don't have to worry as much. It will never get overdosed. So if you give something basic, like say 1 teaspoon, it will never go too much. So, but if sometimes we give these recommendations, eat ghee, very vague recommendations. And then person say, oh, this is very good for me. And they just keep adding. So that's where we have to be careful in our instructions. There is, I will share one story. There is a very good product. I will not name it because I don't want particularly to market or anything. So there is a very good product, highly researched all across the world and proven to be effective on cancer, this and that. It's Ayurvedic product. So when all of that was proven and the research is published in all kinds of journals, top journals, people thought, oh, this is so good, superfood. Now they would eat half of the bottle in one time. And they say, oh, they will speak to the doctor or where they say, oh, this is not good for me because it's causing me indigestion. Of course. Who recommended you eat half of the bottle in one attempt? Anything good, no matter how good the food is. So there is a saying in Ayurveda that sometimes improperly eaten nectar can become poison. Properly eaten, even poison can work as nectar. So that's what it is. Always moderate.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now what happened? At some point I made Sanam host Now, I don't know how to change that. Maybe Sanam can do at her end, because I have to share the PowerPoint.
I'm trying. Yes, I did it.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Welcome, Baba.
Okay, so we are at 4:12.